Hello all, welcome back to another episode. This isn't a market watch or a trading up as such. I've had quite a few people ask me to do a Q&A and I said, to be honest, I've been putting it off a bit. It's a bit embarrassing talking about yourself and whatever else, but I said for 4,000 subscribers, once I hit that, I will do a Q&A. So yeah, quite a few of you sent me through questions. I think I had nearly 40 odd questions, so I whittled them down because some were quite similar, so I think I've got around about 20 odd, maybe a little bit more, so I'll try and fly through those because this might not be for you, something that you're interested in, but if you are, then I hope you enjoy it. Anyway, what else have we got planned? We have the Trading Up series, which is back this week, but I'm doing something a little bit different this week. A lot of you have said to me, oh Ben, you're flying through this. We're going to be really sad when the Trading Up series is finished and you bought the new bike and whatever else. So I thought to myself, well, you know what? We've done quite well so far. I think, I've sold quite a few bikes and whatever else, but I think I deserve a bike, another bike. So I thought to myself, well, you know what? I'm going to treat myself out of the Trading Up fund to a little cheapy for myself. And I do have that motorcycle now. It is literally about 4 yards away from where the camera is at the moment. So I'm hoping no reflections are picking it up. But yes, I have bought myself a bike out of the Trading Up money, which I will show you this week. It's a non-runner, of course. And I have sort of gone back on my own rules as well, and I've spent loads of money on it already for parts and whatever else, but this bike is known to be quite robust. It's something I've discussed in the past. Well, not this bike, but the point of this bike, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't at the moment, but it will do this week. It's a bike I have wanted for ages. We don't officially get them in the UK, or we didn't. We got them to a certain year, and then the new year we've never had them since. So it's a rare bike as well. It was imported in 2014 from Dubai. It is a 2008 model, but strangely it's showing on a 2011 plate, which sometimes the DVLA sort of mess things up and whatever else, and this happens to be one of these. And what's so great about this bike is super simple, and it's ULEZ compliant. Well, so it means I can use it without having to spend £12.50 or £18.50. So if you want to see that bike, you're going to have to you're going to have to subscribe, because I will be showing that this week, and I'm fingers crossed it's something simple. Because yes, as I've said, I've spent a small fortune. Well, pretty much what I've spent on the purchase price of the bike. I'll tell you what I paid for it, actually. I paid £750 for this bike. I'll tell you now as well, we have sold the RVF 400, which was our quick flip, but I'll go into all the profit and that on this week when we go through the Trading Up series, so I won't go into all that now. But yes, I've taken a bit of a dividend, and I've got a bike for myself. I've been supplying bikes to you guys, quite a few subscribers, and now I'm thinking to myself, you know what, I deserve something, and it might even be a replacement for something else. So, but yeah, I'm waffling on about that anyway. It's only because I'm so excited about that bike, but never mind. Right, and what else we've got going on? We've got a bike trip booked as well. I'm not sure if this is something you guys would be interested in or not, but I'm thinking about filming a bike trip with 3 of my friends. We're looking at just going to France, maybe Germany. We're going to be leaving on a Thursday, and we're going to be back on a Sunday, later on a Sunday. So we haven't got all the time in the world, but we've got enough time to go and have fun somewhere. So if that's something you'd like to see me film, then please let me know. What I'm also going to do for that is I'm going to buy a motorcycle for that trip. I'm going to use that motorcycle for the trip. I'm then going to sell the motorcycle after and see if I can at least recoup my costs of the trip. Is that something you'd like to see? If you would, then please please subscribe. Please let me know in the comments if that is something you would like to see. I mean, this bike I've just purchased would probably fill that space quite well, because my friend who's coming on the trip, Stu, and we've been sort of talking about maybe we should do just a budget bike type thing where he buys a bike for £1,000, I buy a bike for £1,000, and see how we get on. But do I want to break down in France? Not really. But that's all part of the fun, isn't it? So that's something that might happen, might not, but I definitely will be buying a bike for this trip. I won't be taking the K1, I won't be taking the R100. I will be buying a dedicated motorcycle for this trip, so please let me know what you think I should purchase. I'm thinking of spending around about £4,000, around about that sort of figure. So I think I can get a very good bike for that. Every time I've done a trip, in fairness, I've always bought a bike to use and then I've sold it after. So it's not the first time I've done it, but it'll be the first time I've done it on camera. So if it's something you want to see, then please let me know. And please let me know in the comments what you think I should purchase for that trip. What have I done it on in the past? I've done it on Ducati Multistrada. I've done it on a Triumph Explorer 1200. I've done it on a K1600 BMW. I've done it on a KTM 1050. I have done it on a Harley Davidson Wide Glide. Where else have I done it? I've done it on so many different bikes now. So yes, I have got BMW GS, the older GS, the 1200, which I was a little bit underwhelmed with that actually, but it was reliable, got me there, did the trip, got back. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think I should buy for that trip, or should I just do the £1,000 challenge? Should I just use the bike I bought for trading up, my dividend bike I'm calling it? Okay, I think that pretty much sums everything up. Have we got anything else new to talk about? Well, we've always got stuff going on, haven't we? That's just the facts of life. The R100 isn't running properly. I'm going to do the carbs this week. BMW K1 I'm going to take out this week as well. And yeah, just making videos and content for you guys. That is pretty much what's going on. Anyway, I think that's enough waffle. Let's get into the Q&A, shall we? Right, all of these questions are in no particular order whatsoever, because the whole point of this is I didn't want to read them too much. I just thought I'd have a quick read, thought yeah, that'll do. I didn't want to think how I was going to answer this, because I want it to be as honest as possible. So I have put it down into, well, there are 25 questions here. I don't think I'm going to get through them all. I'm going to check the time now. I'm going to be talking for about 10-15 minutes. I'm not going to bore you all day, but I think we could get through them pretty quick anyway. So my first Q&A, 4,000 subscribers. Thank you very much, everybody. What is your favourite ever motorcycle? I've had this question probably about 5 times. My favourite ever motorcycle is a Brough Superior SS100. That's my ultimate motorcycle. That's the bike I love the most. I know a lot about them as well. I've never owned one. They've got to that price now where they're crazy. It's probably a lot to do with the T. Lawrence thing and the Lawrence of Arabia connection. That's one of my favourite films ever. Yeah, so that's the bike I probably, I lust after the most, is a Brough Superior. Is it something you would probably use every day? No, it's not. Is it something that you could just go and look at and enjoy? Yes, 100%. Absolutely love that bike. So yeah, Brough Superior SS100 is my favourite bike. Can we have a workshop tour? I will do a workshop tour at some point. It's not going to be a massively huge tour, if I'm honest. And it's not going to be today, I can tell you that, because it's in a bit of a mess at the moment. I've been getting my hands quite dirty. So, as you all probably know, you spend 3 hours tidying up your workshop and then about 10 minutes absolutely decimating it. And we're at that point at the minute. Are you planning on collaborating with any other YouTubers? No, I've got no plans to at all. For one, I don't know any other YouTubers, so that's a lot to do with it. I have been asked to do a podcast, a motorcycle podcast. I won't go into who or what it's about, because nothing has come of that as of yet, and the person who's asked me to do that may not want me to mention it. So I have been asked to do a podcast, and yes, I will do that if that comes to fruition. So that'll be the only collaboration. As I say, I don't know any other YouTubers. Funny enough, saying that, the motorcycle I had purchased, which was supposed to be, well, it's my dividend bike, I'm calling it, which you'll see on Friday, I didn't know was actually a YouTube. The guy was actually on YouTube. His name's Chris. He's a very well-known filmmaker who works for the BBC and whatever else. But yeah, he happened to send me a video that he had done on a motorcycle. And he's got over 50,000 subscribers. So, but I'll go into all about Chris on Friday as well. Possibly one of the nicest guys you could ever meet. But I'll go into that on Friday. But yeah, it's an interesting story. It's an interesting story. I'm going to have to edit that bit because I actually said what the bike was. So, lucky thing, we have editing, isn't it? And this isn't a going live, that's for sure. Who is your fave YouTuber? Who is my favourite YouTuber? Is that YouTuber in general or motorcycle based? What do I watch on YouTube? Do you know what? I do watch bike stuff, but not as much bike stuff as I watch travel stuff. I watch a lot of travel stuff. There's a couple of guys I watch. Planes, Trains and Everything. I watch him a lot. And there's another guy who does the similar thing who's also really good, Scottish guy. I will put his name here. I can't believe I can't remember his name, but he's fantastic. Really enjoy his content as well. I've had a bit of a mind blank. I mean, I've watched these videos so many times and now I can't remember, but there you go. So motorcycle-wise, for me, probably Neavesy from MCN is probably my favourite. Adam Child as well, part of MCN. Anything to do with MCN, I mean, I grew up with MCN. I used to buy the newspapers, and if ever I'm looking for, I'm interested in a motorcycle for myself, I will see what MCN have said about it. I won't go anywhere else. I'll always put in what the bike is, put MCN review. I like to go to the way they star stuff as well. They put a star, 1 to 5 stars. And just their breakdown. It's so straightforward, matter of fact. They do the best reviews, no doubt. They're the most experienced. So, yeah, Neasy, Adam Child. I like Baron Von Grumble as well. I like his stuff. I got into him from when he did his GSXR 1000 green laning video, which was very funny. He's a very funny guy. He's very honest. He's just the sort of bloke you'd have a good laugh with. So yeah, so that's probably that. I can't think of anyone else. I watched Dobbs as well. He's more sort of lifestyle, isn't he? He's a very cool guy. Yeah, so, and he does a lot of travel stuff. So I love travel stuff. So I mainly watch him for his travel stuff he does. Yeah, I like Dobbs as well. Anyone else do I watch? I think that's really it with motorcycle. I mean, I watch a little bit of all types. Is YouTube your job? No. If it was, I'd be broke. So no, YouTube is not my job. I'm nothing to do with motorcycles at all. I'm in the program and project management field. So I've done that quite a bit in sort of working in the IT sort of structure for project program management. Previous role was in cybersecurity as well. I won't bore you into what industry I'm in, but yeah, I've been in it for over 10 years in that field anyway. So yeah, nothing to do with motorcycles, totally different. So yeah, this is why I do this, to be honest, because this is tangible. This is stuff you can feel, this is stuff you can see, and this is stuff that you can sort of play with and make better and see a change. So yeah, it's something tangible, which is why I love doing this sort of stuff. So you have to choose an around the world motorcycle. What would you choose? This is a great question because this also fits in with the bike I've got coming on Friday. This bike fits this bill 100%. Because I've had a lot of people talk recently about it's got to be kickstart, it's got to be this. People who say it's got to be kickstart, I don't know if they've actually owned a bike that's kickstart, because if you want a big thumper, a big single cylinder motorcycle, having a kickstart version is hellish most of the time, to be honest. Everyone will say, well, yeah, if the bike's set up properly and this is done and this is done and the carb's just right, it will, even then it's still, and if you're going around the world, you're going to be going to places where you're getting pretty rubbish fuel at times. So it's going to be even tough to start the bike. So for me, obviously, as you know, I've got the XT600, which is, considered one of those sort of around the world bikes, but it's kickstart only, and that's what's been a bit of a killer for me for that bike. If you saw my previous video, I moaned a bit about that. It's something I've got to play about with, but yes, this new bike fits into all of that. And it's going to be a bike that I'm just going to hold on to. And it's going to be it could be my apocalypse bike. If we all get taken over by zombies, this is the bike you need. Saying that, they say how reliable it is. This one doesn't run, but fantastic. What do I enjoy most about bikes? I'm not going to go into all the cliche stuff, the freedom and all that sort of stuff. I mean, everyone knows that. I don't really know, to be honest. I love riding bikes, just sheer fun of it, I suppose. I like tinkering with them, as you probably know as well. I like tinkering with them sometimes. It depends on the bike. Because, yeah, sometimes you get a bike you think you're going to have good fun messing about with and it turns into a nightmare. So what else do I love about them? I just don't know what it is, really. It's just one of those things, even since I was a little kid, it was because my dad had motorcycles. And I used to jump on the back of his bike and he used to fly down the road. I'd have no helmet on or anything. So, irresponsible father, if you're watching. Yeah, so yeah, just always had been. It doesn't even feel like a choice, to be honest. It just always had been. So yeah, to say it's a choice, it isn't. It's just something I've always been into. So there you go. Are there any brands of motorcycles you wouldn't buy? Yes, and none of the brands you've probably ever heard of. You know, if you get a lot of the rubbish like Yamazakis and stuff like that, you know, a lot of stuff that's come from China, which is just rubbish. To be honest, in fairness, China is way better now, but I'm talking from like 10 years ago when they started sort of bringing in bikes. They were rubbish, cheap, nonsense bikes, and I would never touch them, ever. I wouldn't ever buy one, just rubbish. But they're getting good now, so we'll all be riding Chinese bikes, I'm sure, soon. So, yeah, there's no big major brand I'd say, no, don't buy one of those. I know there are a few brands that I would say are probably a little bit overrated, especially when it comes to build quality and stuff like that. But we can go into that in another video if anybody's interested in that. Time wasters. When you're selling a motorcycle, how do you spot a time waster? That's an interesting question. How do I spot a time waster? Well, they email normally. If someone asks you, the first thing they ask you is if they can test ride a motorcycle. That's your biggest red flag that someone is a time waster. Yeah, so probably that is probably your biggest red flag, because you're only getting an email. If someone's calling you, the likelihood is they're not a time waster. They're serious. They're not just going to want to talk to me for the sake of it. But if someone lives nearby and they just want to test ride your motorcycle, then yeah, they'll go, oh, I'm only 2 miles away. Am I able to test ride the bike? No, you're not. Unless you leave the full amount of the motorcycle, then fine, and you have proper insurance that covers you, then yes, then you can test ride it, because then I know you're serious if you're going to bring the money round. But no, I'm not just going to give you the keys and say see you later. So that's probably your biggest red flag. Most remembered bike fail. Most remembered bike fail. I think I told this one on camera before. When I was 17, I had an Aprilia RS125. And I can't remember what the issue with it was. Just diagnosing it now, it probably had a knackered starter motor or just a knackered battery. But anyway, I had to bump start it to get it running. And I used to live on a hill. So I'd have to, roll it down the hill, put it in second, drop the clutch, bike would start. Bit of choke on, and I'd have to pull over by the side of the road, let it warm up. Anyway, one morning, I tried to do this, and I lived down a hill and then down a really long hill that was about 2 miles long, and I couldn't get it to start. And this was before I had to go to college, so I'm trying to start this bike, bump start it all the way down a hill. I get about 2 miles down this hill, and I'm trying to start this bike, and it just won't start. And I was there for about half an hour, 40 minutes trying to start it. It wouldn't do it. Trying to bump it, running down the road with it, jumping back on it, trying to start it. Nothing. I was like, what am I going to do? So I'm standing there looking at it. Kill switch was on, wasn't it? Oh, click the kill switch. Boom, started straight up. So that's probably one of my most memorable. I've got another one. I'll do a quick one. Ducati 748. Took it for an MOT. MOT tester's pulling on it. Stand snaps, doesn't it? The bike lands on him. Luckily, there was no damage to the bike. Don't worry about the MOT tester. So it's like, oh, God. So I had to ride the bike back. So I'm riding down a steep hill coming down through Caterham, and the rear brake seizes up. So I'm stuck there with a bike with no side stand that I can't move because it seized. So I'm sitting on there. So luckily I had my phone on me. I had to call my dad, who had to jump in my van that I had at the time, come up, pick the bike up, but I couldn't even rest it against the wall or anything. So yeah, if he wasn't about, I don't know what I would have done. So there you go, 2 memorable fails. How do you find the bargains? I get this a lot. This is probably one of the most asked questions I get. Because obviously I do get a lot of deals. But also you've got to remember is I've been doing this for over 20 years. Yeah, probably longer. So it's not just... I think what most people don't understand is it's knowing at the time it's a bargain as well. You've got to act super fast. That's the killer of all deals, is time. If you don't get in there fast, that's what ruins it. And a lot of people will and do this, do that. I will know within the first 5 seconds if I'm buying that bike. No, I don't even probably need that long. I buy it, it's done. So you got to act so fast, and you got to be looking all the time. I don't just open up a laptop and go, oh, I'm going to look on all Bike Trader, I'm going to look on eBay, I'm going to look on, and I find one straight away. No, I can go. There's been times in the past where I've gone, it felt like weeks and not had a good deal at all. And then sometimes they all come together at once. So yeah, I think people think I just sort of trip over them. I don't. There's a lot goes into it. There's a lot of experience. There's a lot of knowing where to look, how to look as well. Yeah, and acting very quickly. But I'm not going to give away all my secrets, obviously, because I don't want to be competing with other people, do I? Then I won't be able to give you this content of me buying bargains, as I call them. Worst bike you've ever owned? Oh, where's the worst bike I've ever owned? Probably that RS125. That was an absolute nightmare. But I've owned so many. And I probably have a different relationship than most do with motorcycles as well, because I can quickly get in or out of a motorcycle. I can just decide I'm selling that, and that's it. So I probably sell a bike before it becomes a pain for me anyway, to be honest. So I can't think of one that I go, oh, that was a nightmare, that was rubbish. I can't think of bikes that I've been disappointed with that weren't as good as what I sort of thought they would be, or what the internet would lead you to believe. But again, that's a different video. Ben, in your opinion, what's the biggest bargain used motorcycle today? That would be a Honda VFR 750 or a VFR 800. I've gone on about those many times. If you've watched the channel from when I've started, we're only 6 months old, remember? Talking like I've been doing it for years. We've only done it for 6 months. But I did a video on a VFR 800, and yeah, if you haven't seen that, have a look at that. That is probably the best made motorcycle you're going to get for your money, or a VFR 750. I like the 750s actually. I'd have a green 750 VFR 800 with some, yeah, decently low miles on. That's been looked after. Utter bargain, undervalued. Will go on forever. Yeah, try and stay away from the VTEC side. They're great bikes, but yeah, nobody wants to work on those, and they're expensive to work on the VTEC. So yeah, pre-VTEC 800 and below, all the VFRs down there, they are your bargain motorcycle. If you only had one motorcycle for the rest of your life, what would it be? Oh, wow. If I had to choose a motorcycle for the rest of my life, just one, well, I'd have to buy something new, wouldn't I? Because hopefully I've got another 40 plus years left to live, maybe more. So I'd have to have something new, because there's probably no point having something used and then being 40 years old, another 40 years older. I don't know, what would I buy? That'd probably be my Honda fanboy part coming out of me. There'd probably be a Honda, because they're robust and just go on forever. I don't know what model I'd go for though. Do you know what? I'd probably have an Africa Twin then. I'd probably have a bog standard Africa Twin, just so nothing could go wrong on it at all if I had to keep it for 40 years. Yeah, probably an Africa Twin manual. I love the DCT. I actually think that's an amazing bike, but if I'm keeping it for that long, I just need bog standard. I need it to do everything. So probably an Africa Twin. But would I go and buy an Africa Twin tomorrow? Probably not. That's why that's an interesting question. But I love the Africa Twin. Would I? I probably would. I probably would buy an Africa. I don't know. But yeah, if I had to, that probably would do all the bases. Have you ever been in a motorcycle accident? Yes, I have. I broke my knee in 2 places. I've got 2 big bolts in my knee here. A bit of a plate in there as well, holding it all together. That was a long time ago now. How long ago was that? I was 16 at the time. I was coming outside of traffic. Someone did a U-turn on me, hit into my leg, knocked me off. But lucky it wasn't too embarrassing, because I had a whole double-decker bus of people I went to school with come past and see me like that as I was laying on the floor. So, yeah, it was a bit of an in-betweeners moment, that. So, yeah, that. And have I come off a bike before? I have. I've got a patch missing here. That was my own fault. That was me being cool again at 17 or 18. I was coming out my side turning on that RS125. It was frosty as the bike slid from under me. I didn't have a proper jacket on, scuffed my arm there, and my girlfriend at the time was standing right there. So yeah, I fell off in front of my girlfriend as well, which was embarrassing. So yeah, every time I've had an accident on a bike has been very embarrassing. Have I slid off a bike other than that? Touching wood that I haven't. I don't think so. Obviously, with off-road doing like green laning and stuff, I have. XT600 coming up a steep hill, the bike just went light, fell back. That was horrible. Head hit a tree, lucky I had a helmet on. And yeah, and the rest of that, yeah. And yeah, dropped the bike, and yeah, it was horrible. But yeah, that evening I ended up riding the bike to Clapham anyway, and went out for the night with a few mates. So that was a very cool bike. That's why I love XT600s. One piece of advice you would give for motorcycle trading. One piece of advice I would give. It's you buy the bike. You do the deal at that price. You need to be able to make a profit when you buy the bike. First off, straight away, even if you bought an absolute dog that needs loads of work that you're going to sell as a project, you've got to be able to make a profit there and then. There's no point thinking you can add value. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You know, yeah, it is just about worth that, not running. But when it's running, it's going to be worth this. If you're doing that, you're on a bit of a hiding to nowhere. So yeah, always... buy it at the you do the deal at the price you buy it at. That's where you make your money, is that bit. So that's the only advice I would probably give when it comes to trading. What's your guilty pleasure bike? What's a guilty pleasure bike? I love Street Fighters. I love Street Fighter type bikes. That's one bike I really enjoy. I don't really do much with them. I used to like to sort of mess about with them and whatever else, but I haven't done for a long time. But I still look at them and still like them. So that's a bit of a guilty pleasure. Quite a few people probably don't think they're cool anymore. But yeah, I'm a bit of a fan of the old Street Fighters. I'm trying to rush through these a bit now, guys, because I want to be rambling. What video are you proud of that didn't get the views you hoped for? I think probably I did an Africa Twin ES video, which was quite an in-depth video which went through everything on the bike, and I don't think that gained as much traction as some videos that I thought, you know, wouldn't do particularly well and did very well. So yeah, just one of those things, I think. Just one of those things. What kind of comments or feedback do you remember the most? Have you ever had any really horrible comments? Comments I remember the most. Yeah, the nice ones, I suppose, when people say nice stuff, which is quite regular, which is nice, which is really nice to hear or read, rather. So yeah, the positive stuff's really good. Have I had horrible ones? Yes, of course. Yeah, I get horrible. Very rarely, though, to be fair. I've had a few people just just take a disliking to you for no apparent reason. They'll watch a video and they just won't like you, and they'll just put that in the comments. You know nothing about bikes. You don't know this. You don't know that. Yeah, I quite like the comments where they disagree with you and they give you opinion and you think you know absolutely nothing about bikes anyway. So I like those ones the most. So yeah, I do get negative ones, but they're rare, to be fair. And it's water off a duck's back. I actually kind of enjoy the really rude negative ones. I shouldn't really say that because they'll probably be asking me for more. That I'm asking for more that way. But yeah, they make me laugh. I'm not offended by them. I don't get upset. You lose sleepless nights. I can't even, as I say, I've had quite a few, but I can't remember any too offhand because they get forgotten pretty quickly. So yeah, it's not something that keeps me up all night, but you're going to get them. If you're going to start doing YouTube stuff, it doesn't matter who you are or what you do, you're going to get negative comments. So, yeah, if you don't like that side of it, yeah, doing YouTube might not be the best thing for you. What's the most positive thing to come out of the Bentonupclub? What's the most positive? I've had emails before from people who have sort of said they've struggled with sort of mental health stuff. I've had a few emails about this, and they say that they really enjoy the videos and it helps them relax and whatever else like that. And I think that's probably the biggest positive I've had. That really was, when I read ones like that, that makes you think there's a little bit more to this than I probably thought there was, which is really good. So I do like that a lot. What type of motorcycle deal are the most difficult in regards to people? What's the most difficult deal? People. I don't really. Well, it's normally, I'd say, probably the expert mate. It's the friend who comes along with the actual buyer, the person who's buying it, he's sort of been asked to come along for his expertise. So yeah, he's there basically telling you all the time how much he knows about bikes and what he's done and all this sort of stuff. They're probably the most difficult because they feel like they've got to, yeah, sort of live up to their friends' expectations. But they will bring a friend or the expert, as I call them now and again, who really knows their stuff. And they will barely talk to you. They will just come there and they'll start looking at the bike and looking at stuff. You go, oh, he knows what he's doing. And he'll start looking at the bike, pulling and prodding it the same sort of way I would. And I think, it's the quiet friend. That's the one who knows his stuff. So yeah, the loud friend who wants to tell you absolutely everything, then yeah, they're probably the most difficult because you have to pander to them instead of the guy who actually wants to buy the bike. So yeah, that's probably the most difficult, but I wouldn't say it's difficult at all. Best tip for selling a bike to someone. What's the best tip? I think the best tip is not to sell a bike to someone. I think that's probably the best tip I can give you. That may sound very odd, but what I mean by that is when you look like or you're trying to sell a bike, it just comes across as some kind of sales tactic, and it just comes across as, yeah, just very awkward and that you're just after their money. Just be very honest. If they want to buy the bike, they'll buy it. There's no magic words that you can put in a sentence that will make them buy it, really, as such. So, yeah, as long as you've got to the point of where you've been very honest with your listing, your description, and you've just been 100% honest, then 99.9% of the time they're going to buy it. So you don't really have to sell it. So, yeah, you don't have to watch Wall Street the night before and start getting into some sort of brutal sales mode, because that doesn't work. It puts people off. No one wants to be sold to. I think that's probably the biggest key I'd probably tell you. Would you say you're a tough negotiator when buying a bike? No, not really. I mean, I suppose you could say I'm tough from the point that I'll have an amount I want to buy it for, and then that's it. I mean, I'm happy for it to go then at that point if I don't get it for that. So probably quite robotic, I would probably say. I know what I want. I think the key is when you want to try and buy something is it's not always just about the money as well. It's making it painless for the person who's selling it, because, you know, they just want to sell the bike. You know, they just want it gone most of the time, unless it's a divorce or something and they're being forced to sell it. You know, they want it gone, so they want it as painless as possible. So I think the key is making it as painless for someone as possible. If you can act fast and you can tell them, I can give you the money quickly, I'll get this done as soon as possible, sold as is, you know, I'll take the bike, then they're way more willing to lower the price. So that's probably the only advice I'd give you there with negotiating. But again, it's tough when you're negotiating, because again, it's like sales. You don't want to look like you're selling. You don't want to look like you're negotiating too hard either. And you want everyone, you know, a fair deal is a deal that both parties are happy with. So sometimes you just can't put the deal together and it just doesn't happen, and you could be on the phone for 20 minutes and still nothing. Now, that happened recently with a bike I was looking at buying. We just couldn't come to a number on it. A lovely guy, lovely bike, but I was happy to walk away, and that's the first time I thought about the bike since then. And it doesn't weigh on me, oh, I should have bought that, should have done that. It doesn't. So there you go. Okay, guys, well, that's a lot of questions I've answered today. I mean, if we get to 10,000 subs, I'll do another one if there's any interest. If there's no interest in this video, I won't bother doing it again. But there was a bit of an insight because quite a few people have asked me, so I try to get through those as quickly as possible. So yeah, so that pretty much sums it all up. So you'll be seeing me next on Trading Up, where I'll be showing you the newest bike I have bought, which is a bike for me, which, as I say, we've taken a dividend, and that is a bike I will be keeping. But we're going into all that and Trading Up this week. As always, guys, thank you very much.